how much knowledge has been lost over the centuries, over the millennia. How differently would we view the world as had we a better understanding of its past? Little is known of Shiva's life and deeds, yet the heretics venerate her as a saint. Sir Emmeric's ancestors are said to have founded Ishtar by the will of alone, yet he admits that scripture only tells us so much. Ultimately, however, the details of his people's war with the dragons are irrelevant. Regardless of how the conflict began, it is destined to continue, unless Iceheart's plan succeeds, which the Sands cannot allow. While Mainfield and the others search for a means to reach Iceheart's sanctuary, you have to assist Yu Yu Haze and the Third Unit Braves in tracking down the heretics who attempted to ambush the Allied forces. There you are, Joseph. Commander Leviov instructed me to wait for you. Your assistance is most welcome, believe me. Most of the threat hail from Hulda, and for a man accustomed to the feel of sand beneath his boots, the crunch of snow can be rather disconcerting. But to the matter at hand. In every moment the Gala received word that the heretics we seek have been spotted making for the Danifan Pass. My braves are already in pursuit, and I should be grateful if you would join them. I myself shall be taking part in the hunt. Never let it be said that I do not earn my friend. The heretics were last seen heading towards Danifan Pass, and the third unit braves are already in pursuit. Yujuhaze leaves to join them and bids you follow. Do as bade and speak with any third unit braves you find. Balls, my ankle is on fire. Cuffed my foot on the rock or something and twisted it as I fell. The others went on ahead through the defense pass. Hurry and you might catch up. If you aren't sure where to go, look for tracks. The snow is fresh, so they should be hard to find. Many of the third unit braves are unaccustomed to the frigid conditions in Corfias, and the young man you find kneeling in the snow is no exception. Having twisted his ankle, he is no longer able to keep up. Press on without them and find the other south of Danny. The tracks lead southeast. You come across several sets of tracks which appear to belong to the Braves and their quarry. Follow them southwest and keep your eyes peeled for both friend and foe. Saya, what are you doing here? The heretics? I'm not sure. There was a great scale beast and you has it? I think he went east on his own. The heretics split up, so we did too. You found a solitary brave. Though not seriously injured, he is clearly disoriented and in no condition to fight. According to him, the heretics split up, prompting the braves to do so as well. And you, Yohaze, followed one trail alone. Search for the officer in the woods to the east. You will rescue Yuhase from certain death, slaying Iceheart's followers before they can deliver the telling blow. Speak with the Crystal Brave and perform his confession. How embarrassing. I was so intent on following the heretics' tracks that I almost failed to notice they had doubled back. Almost, mind you. One tried to sneak up behind me and got a knife in the gut for his troubles. I thought myself alone, so I started searching the dead man's knapsack for anything of interest. And lo and behold, before his friends found me, I came upon this. Withdraw in groups of 3 or less to the observatorium. Gives a signal and waits. The merchant will be waiting. Be late and be left for that. Speaks for itself, does it not? They can't possibly mean to rendezvous inside that place, so we should restrict our search to the surrounding areas. Let me rephrase that. You should restrict your search to the wilderness around the observatorium. I will need more than a moment's rest to recover from these wounds. Yuhase reveals that he was able to slay one heretic and was in the process of searching his victim's body when the dead man's comrades surprised him and overpowered him. With a grin, he then produces a piece of parchment and proceeds to read you the message written thereon. It would seem to be an escape plan devised in the aftermath of the heretic's failed ambush at Snowcloak. The plan mentions a rendezvous point near the observatorium, as well as a merchant sympathetic to the heretic's cause. Search the outskirts of the observatorium and seize the fugitives before they escape. I am through with listening to your excuses. We leave now. No, the woods are crawling with those blue cuts, and the knights are searching every wagon that passes through the gates. Well, stay with him then if you think you'll fare any better. No, there's no need for that. There are places like this in my homeland, sacred snow-capped peaks where blood must not be shed. Yet your lands have a thirst for the blood of the fallen, and by your deeds it has drunk deep. No, I have done all wrong. None but meet in secret with heretics. Didn't I told you will? We shall have the truth from you yet. Inquisitors are not the only ones skilled in the arts of interrogation. Damn it all. Fancy meeting you here, Joseph. I presume you work with the third out you hid there? With a tangled web. Lest you wonder we came not for the heretics, but for the merchant who has been conspiring with them. He came to our attention during the course of our investigation into the Ivy. It beggars belief, I know, but it seems our favorite Garland spy may have been providing assistance to Isart. Were it not for the efforts of Lady Yuguri and her shinobi, we might never have discovered this connection. Mr. Alfino is too kind. I feel my people and I have done little to aid your search for the spy. We long to strike back against the Empire and weaken their influence in this land to prevent the tragedy which befell Goma from recurring. The days ahead and the work they promise will require a very particular set of skills which I am fortunate enough to possess. If you will allow it, I would accompany you until the investigation is complete. That is a most generous offer, Lady Yuguri, and one which I gladly accept. Thank you. Though I may disappear for a time, know that I shall never be Ifa and shall always be watching. A comforting thought. Come, Joseph, let us wait inside the for Captain Gilbert to return and deliver his report. That's not better. Outside the walls of the observatorium, you chance upon the merchant and a single heretic who subsequently attempt to flee. However, they are stopped in their tracks by the unexpected arrival of Captain Gilbert. Gilbert, Alfinot, and Yuguri. After Gilbert takes them into custody, Alfinot explains that they had been seeking the merchant in connection with their investigation into the Ivy. Wait with Alfinot inside the gate while Captain Gilbert interrogates the merchant. Captain Gilbert seemed confident that the merchant's resolve would swiftly crumble when pressed. If so, we should have new information early. As to whether it will bring us any closer to learning the Ivy's identity, I would rather not say. Given our adversary's cunning, I shall consider us fortunate if we are spared another wild doo-doo chase. The gods know we have more than enough to occupy our time as it is. The interrogation of the merchant is not expected to take long, but Alfino is doubtful that it will yield any useful information. The Ivy would surely not be so careless. Be that as it may, all you can do now is wait and hope for your fellow that your fellow scientist will. Who's that? It's real, for death is permanent, just a masquerade. Tendrils of intrigue. Captain Gilbert, your report, if you will. Aye, Commander. Firstly, with regard to the heretic we captured, I regret to say that the man could tell us not that we did not already know of Shiva. We have since handed him over to the Ishkarian authorities. Henceforth, the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerning the Ivy, however, have proven more fruitful. We have ascertained the channel by which a heretic acquires their information on the shipment routes. Go on. You will recall the flame we first identified as being the Ivy's employ. From him we were able to trace a trail of conspirators, each taking us closer to his master. Alas, the trail came to an abrupt end. Feeling that the investigation had been compromised, we took the necessary step of detaining all suspects of conspiracy. There were 5 on our list, including a flame station at Ravenstow. The man's primary duty was to keep an inventory of donations from aboard, the particulars of which would share with benefactors, thereby ensuring that needs did not go unfulfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to the details of all shipments bound for the settlement, needless to say that included those originating from House Fortune. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. I think I can guess which one. None other. With a little encouragement, he soon confessed to knowingly aiding and abetting the heretics. Well, that is one mystery solved at least. But what of the Ivy? Are we any closer to icing off his mess? I dare say we are, Commander. Our relentless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. In a desperate bid to cover his tracks, the Ivy resorted to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider then that our investigation is known to barely a handful of them, the field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You mean to say that the agent is among Rob Bonds in their most circle? Someone who has been with him since the Immortal Flames establishment? It is the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, with the groundwork for the act being laid beforehand. To slip into a position of authority unremarked and remain above suspicion all these years. I, I too was surprised, though I really should not have been. Of the 3 grand companies, Hulda was ever the more vulnerable to infiltration. Both Limsa Loomis and Gridania had long-standing armed forces that lent themselves well to the information of the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Adder. To all intents and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones, minds, under the same leadership. Only the banner was different. Not so, not so the flames. Ulda's military was made up from desperate orders, most of which were glorified mercenary companies that answered only to their own paymasters. Hardly an ideal environment in which to establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Roban faced when founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Even after he had convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cost, there remained the small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed, and given the pressing nature of the imperial threat, that meant recruiting every passing southward. Amidst the chaos of its founding, it should have been child's play to infiltrate the company. A good deal easier than now. Oh, the Immortal Flames have ever been caught between conflicting interests, the public and the private. Though, though the monetarists ultimately agreed to support the organization's funding, it was not out of charity that they did so, but simply self-preservation. Had Niall Van Darn's ambitions been any less apocalyptic, you may be sure that they would never have risked supplying Warbon with an army. It is but a wonder they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. Returning to the present. Even as we speak, our Doman allies are shadowing several high-ranking flames, any one of whom could be the Ivy. Desiring to deal a blow against the Empire, the refugees were eager to lend us their aid. I accept to hear from them along. Accept. Very good. Continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, have the second attend to the unrest. The third can join the fourth in inspecting crystal shipments. If they notice anything unusual, I want to know about it. If she makes summon in like manner to the other primals, the heretic will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Commander. I shall send word to Sir Emmerich informing him of our success in identifying the heretic's abattoirs. Hopefully the information will be of some use to the Ishgardian. It is time, Commander. Yes, I am aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leadership has been called. There have been developments in Garland, it would seem. As commander of the Crystal Braves, my presence has been requested. I would have you accompany me, Joseph. As the realm's stoutest champion, it is only meet that you be present for the discussion. Oh, and the antecedent has already given her consent, lest you worry. At the observatorium, Gilbert furnishes you an often with a progress report on his hunt for the ivy. It is revealed that one of the Imperial spies confederates of flame station at Revenant Skull had been selling secrets to the merchants you apprehended, who had in turn been passing information to the heretics. Yet, even as this revelation explains how the heretics came to possess knowledge of the caravan routes, it raises the question of how they and the Imperial agents might be connected. Could it be a purely financial arrangement or something more worrying? Whatever the answer, Gilbert seems confident that he is drawing closer to discovering the Ivy's identity. After issuing the captain further orders, Alfinud bids you accompany him to an emergency meeting between Alliance leaders. Speak with them again to be informed of the party. Like me, you are doubtless eager to conclude our business with Vysart, but until another path to a sanctum is found, you will remain beyond our reach. Midfield and the Archons are sparing no effort to secure an alternate route. Until such time as they succeed, I suggest we give some thought to the realm's other problems. I shall go on ahead to prepare in readiness for the coming council. Meet me at Nofica's altar, and we shall make our way to the Lotus stand together. The Council of Alliance Leaders will convene at the Lotus stand in Old Britannia. Alfinod bids you join him at Nofika's altar prior to the meet. My thanks for coming, Joseph. When you are ready, speak with the conjurer yonder. She will show us to the Lotus stand. The Council of the Alliance Leaders will be convening shortly. Speak with the silent conjurer to be shown to the Lotus. The Alliance leaders await you at the Lotus stand. Will you be joining them now?
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumors are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
'Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
Indeed, yet claims count for little without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader. Not so his uncle.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartano dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the Ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
At the Alliance Council, we know that the Garlean War of Succession has concluded with the crowning of Varisos Galvus, the late Emperor's grandson. Under his leadership, it is feared the Empire will soon resume its march upon Eorzea. If the realm is to stand against the revigorated might of Garlemald, it seems clear that the Alliance must not only regain its former unity, but find a way to entice the long-entrenched Ishgarians back into the fold. Speak with confidence to hear his thoughts on the man enters discussed. It will not have escaped your notice that the nations of Eorzea are now near being of one purpose, despite their protestations to the contrary. Plainly, the threat of a resurgent Garlemald is not enough to stir them. The reason for this? Deep-rooted mistrust amongst the citizenry. The nation's leaders can come to all understandings they like, but their unity means little unless to the common folk. Take the Lomesians, for instance. Though Admiral Yet outlawed piracy over a decade ago, foreigners still picture the nation as a haven for grog swelling wooden-legged cutthroats. And likewise, the Gridanians are mocked. Let me see. As hermits who talk to trees, and the Uldans scorn as builders who worship time. Not that such sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take that pillar of Hulda society, Alegi ad Alegi, for example. But that is besides the point. The fact is that people are wary of outsiders whether they have cause to be or not. On that basis, one could argue that the conflict at Cartagena is a necessary evil. Each nation has its own warm, hungering faction that advocates the acquisition of Omega. In order to placate them, we present them something resembling warfare, and thereby curb their appetite for full-scale conflict. But enough idle musing. Let us speak of a more pressing matter, the IV. Since we spoke at the observatorium, Captain Hilbert has further shortened his list of suspects, and by happy coincidence, the one he deems the most likely candidate has lately come to Britannia. The hunt nears its end, Joseph. All that remains is to corner our quarry. Seek out Hilbert near the other's nest. We will give you the particulars. Should there be any developments in Corfias, you may be sure that I will send word without delay. In the meantime, I wish you success in apprehending the ivy. Having bent your heel with his philosophical musings, Ophinot informs you that Hilbert has made further progress in his hunt for the ivy. Seek the captain in front of the other's nest in New Britannia and place yourself at his disposal. My thanks for coming, Cyan. Doubtless the commander has informed you, but we have unmasked the ivy. From this point on, we must proceed with extreme caution. You have reported to Wilbur that your word the final hunt for the ivy will commence. Chasing ivy. Listen well. The spy we have been seeking all this time is none other than Flame Marshal Eileen Royale, Ruban's second in command. Prior to joining the Immortal Flames, she was a mercenary of no small renown. They say her skill with a pole arm had to be seen to be believed. Of each guardian buff, she is the highest ranked foreigner in the Immortal Flames, bearing the Flame General himself, of course. When he formed the Grand Company, Raban chose people based on their worth, whence they hailed was of no interest. The Amonitarists saw things differently, however. Having founded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. It was no secret that they did not favor foreigners, Ishkanians especially, so the way the Holy See forsook the alliance. Yet the monetarists did not raise so much as a murmur to protest when Royal was appointed to our post. Passing strange, is it not? Could it be that the Ivy had some hold over the monetarists? But these revelations are secondary to our current mission. Of foremost interest to us is Royale's presence here now. As you may be aware, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal all to command the immortal flames in the absence of the Flame General. While Morban attended to the Council of Alliance Leaders, she should have remained in a Hall of Flames. The woman has no business being in Britannia, yet she is nonetheless, on some pretense. She's up to something, mark my words. Even as we speak, I have a dozen men trawling the Flames records for evidence at Royale's Guild, but if we can catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city gates. We are ship landing in the docks. Every point of egress, she cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely upon your eyesight? You have my thanks. Let us go then, and take care not to alert our quarry. Gilbert reveals that the XIV is none other than Flame Marshal Helene Royale, Roban's second in command. He believes that she has come to Britannia with treachery in mind and means to catch her in the act. Join him in watching her every move. Royale is headed in the direction of the Blue Badger Gate. With me, sire. Helene Royale appears to be bound for the Blue Badger Gate. Continue to shadow the suspect. So Royale has entered the Carlin canopy, meeting someone, perchance, or could it be that she means to board an airship? I look for her within. If she is not on the upper floor, or try to the landing area below. One of mine is stationed there, and she may have seen something. If Ami is her name, I shall remain here in case Royale reappears. Ellie Royale has entered the Carlin canopy, and Gilbert bids you look for her within. If she is not on the upper level, take a search the landing area below and speak with the Crystal Brave Effie. Joseph, such an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? A social visit, you say? How pleasant. No, she did not come this way. I've noticed every passenger and on board any resemblance. Well, don't let me keep you. FME is certain that Helene Royale has not boarded an airship. Make your way back outside the Carlin canopy and report her mysterious disappearance to Wilbert. Nowhere to be seen, you say, and you are sure she did not board an airship? She did not come back out either. Where in the heaven, seven hells could she have gone? The roost, how could I forget? Greetings, good sir. Might I interest you in some tonic? A cup a day imbues a man with great vigor, if you take my meaning. Perhaps another time, friends. Wait, that necklace. You are a shinobi of Doma. The woman you seek has left Britannia by way of Wetshore Pier. He was attired as a merchant, but his eyes are not so easily deceived. You may wish to take your search to the east route. Rest assured that we shall continue to support you from the shadows. Thank the 12 for the domats. Were it not for their unique talents, Royale would have disappeared without a trace. Gilbert believes that Eileen Royale may have availed herself of a room at the Roost to pursue a offer trail. Just when it seems as though your quarry has eluded you, a shinobi of Doma appears with word that Eileen Royale has left Britannia by way of Wet Shore Pier. Your hunt will take you to the east route. In flagrante delicto. Our hunt leads us to the east route, Scion. I suggest we follow Royale's example and take the ferry from West Shore Pier. Your locals wish to make certain preparations. See to them while I go on ahead. I shall wait for you at Sweet Bloom Pier. Thanks to the Dominant's watchful eyes, you have picked up Eileen Royale's trail once again. Rejoin Gilbert at Sweet Bloom Pier in the East Shroud. This way, my friends. The quarry makes for the Hawthorne Hut. If Royale is truly the one we seek, we can expect the Chinins to make contact with our Garlean masters there. An explanation is in order. You are no doubt aware that the Garleans have their own method of communicating over great distances. Well, our ingenious friends at Carbonara Works have provided us with devices which disrupt these communications when we have installed them around the city-states. In so doing, we have made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Royale thus have no choice but to rid themselves with her Imperial contact directly. Yet, as a well-known face in Immortal Flames, she cannot move about Tanalan without being recognized. It will only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. It is for this reason I believe that she has chosen the Black Shroud for our clandestine meeting. The others are our common sight here, and our comings and goings are not like to turn any heads. As my scouts tell us, the Guardians have sent agents with a mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in rebuffing their efforts. This is it. We only make for Hawthorne's Hut and catch Royale in the act. With some help from Garland Ironworks, the Alliance has managed to install communications jamming devices around the city-states, ensuring that Eileen Royale will have no choice but to communicate with her accomplices in person. All that remains is to catch her in the act. Make for the Hawthorne Hut with Gilbert and Ugly to pursue your quarry.